Echo Oscar November flights. Malmstrom, bad name to pronounce, but it's an actual person's name. Missile launch facility, ICBMs being shut down by UFOs. Y'all know the meme. This is step. I'm going to call this video number 2 because I had a video 0 and a video 1. Eric Carlson's statements as of 2010 in one form or another. These communications have occurred either through emails, phone calls, etc. And this is going to be the shortest one of the bunch. Some of these people are being very seemingly ambiguous or not clearing anything up for a simple reason. If something happened in 1967 and it's 2010, when someone is finally able to contact you because you as a rock solid source aren't being named efficiently enough for a person to find you and double check whether or not you're being lied about, it might take a while to contact you, and after, let's see, that's a long damn time to wait to have to confirm something. Somebody named Hastings called after he'd written a book with me in it. I don't know what his motive was. I was contacted by both Sales, Mr. Sales, and Mr. Hastings, and would neither confirm nor deny they told me. I really didn't want to get involved in a pissing contest with either. This is the second person to use that expression. Basically, they called him on the phone, and he didn't want to answer any questions about this, probably because it was too many damn years. Let's see, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, it's 40 years later, and maybe I don't remember a UFO incident at a missile launch area. Well, that's obviously suspicious. Frogs are gay. Except the most logical assumption here is the reason you don't remember a UFO incident that shut down missiles and made you understand that the intergalactic cabal and Illuminati are running the United States is because it fucking didn't happen. The reason he doesn't remember anything on those days is that there was nothing to really pay attention to. Missile launch facilities having screw-ups in the 60s were not that uncommon. In fact, the meme here is based on them actually happening often, much more often than they really do. And the idea is to blame it on UFO activity. It always happens. And the Russians had a missile launch stopped by them. But the fact is that the fail-safe mode has a reason for that name. If a system fails and it's something that can kill people, you make it fail in such a way that it can't. Which means, by default, if a nuke site is hit with a missile or a really big rock, like an asteroid, it's not supposed to just launch. It has to go off for a reason. It needs a positive group indication. This and this and this. That's a logic function. If that logic function breaks, you don't launch. That's why you can disable a nuclear bomb in some cases, some types, by literally just shooting it. As long as you create a defect that makes it where the damn thing can't function correctly, it can't go off, number one. And number two, it's supposed to shut off. Because all it's going to do is make a mess for whoever's near it and not really do its damn job. It's better than to not go off and maybe not be found, maybe be retrieved later, because that would be a better outcome. Yes, that's reality. But anyway, let's go on with it. Hastings told me he had written a book, and I told him that sounded interesting. He sent me a copy, and while I cannot attest or comment on anything other than the Malmstrom incident, I found that particular incident full of errors. Translation: Eric Carlson, who was there at Malmstrom, says the book's wrong about Malmstrom. That's the only thing he has any knowledge of, and he's showing a reasonable person's behavior pattern. I'm only going to comment on shit I know about. That didn't happen. A producer for some UFO TV series contacted me one time, and a reporter from Great Fall newspaper also contacted me one time. There were no follow-ups from either, because he didn't say what they wanted to hear. Let's repeat. I don't remember much about something 40 years ago, but the one thing I don't remember is something that I wouldn't be able to forget. A UFO incident that shut off a nuke place. Yeah. UFOs do not fucking alter the behavior of nuclear plants, nuclear bombs, or anything. Yes, I'm expanding it to nuclear plants. No, Fukushima wasn't caused by aliens because it was clearly damaged by a fucking earthquake. Blanche. So anyway, why do you have a name that sounds like a chick's first name? Anyway, let's get on with it. A producer from some TV show, a reporter, and some guys who wrote a book. They didn't get what they wanted. Let's go on. I have never had any discussion with security personnel regarding UFOs. That means he didn't report a UFO. There was no call at any time telling us about any UFOs. And the other person that I have a video about says there was no interrogation where they were told not to talk about things, because obviously one of them that says he was there, that may not have been there, is talking about it. It's obviously not restricted. I am sure that Feigl, the other person, had any... I am sure that if he had any discussions with security personnel about this, he would have mentioned it to me. I never felt constrained in any way regarding reporting any unusual activities around our missile site, for the real good reason that anything unusual, even a freaking cricket noise that sounds unusual, might be an indication of some shit going down. In fact, I believe we were encouraged to report unusual incidents and events. Yes, because that's how you keep from getting invaded by the demons. Or, you know, military forces that might invade, or a terrorist cell trying to get a hold of a nuke. Anything unusual you report, you make notes of, and you forward it as fast as possible if it's really weird. Obviously, seeing a flying UFO, the first thing I would think if I was getting that report from this guy is, oh, somebody's out there with a fucking helicopter or something, we don't know how it works. Let's go investigate. No, let's not investigate it and let's punish them. That makes fucking great sense. The only time you tell them not to talk about something is you tell them, it's one of ours, it got loose, it's an autonomous robot, don't tell anybody, please, because we'll have to throw you in prison. That's the only time you actually get told not to talk about something. But you tell the person, yeah, it was one of our drones. Don't tell anybody, or a robot we built. And yeah, that's actually been done. There were no reports called into either me or Feigl on the morning of March 16th, 1967, because he doesn't remember any. This is something you'd remember, wouldn't it? Green aliens? Hot dancing blue chicks? Or green ones? Guardians of the Galaxy is a good movie. The report that we had lost 10 missiles is accurate. And other people say that it was only 8 or 4. But 10 is the most common number. It was not uncommon to lose 1 missile or even 2 no-go status. It was unheard of to lose all 10, but it happened. And it also happened after that point with the same kind of equipment in another location, I was told, but I can't confirm it. That's me saying that, not him. I recall that both Feigl and I were kept rather busy completing our checklist, which included calls to the wing command post and maintenance control. Shortly after completing the checklist, we received a call from a senior controller at SAC, a general. He wanted to know my status, and I informed him that E2 through E11 were no-go status. Those are the missile names. Yeah. He asked me if I was sure, and how did I know I could not launch. I advised him that my tech order indicated they would not launch. I am sure he was concerned because our targets would have been covered by someone else. He then asked if E1 would launch, and I advised him that that was the launch control center we were at. I recall wanting to tell him that I sure as hell hoped it wouldn't. The voice reporting system did report guidance and control system malfunction. I do not recall being shaken by what had occurred. I don't believe Feigl nor I had any emotional reaction other than perhaps surprise. I don't know if anyone eventually determined the cause, and it was found to actually be a logic circuit between buildings or whatever. And it went into fail-safe mode and shut everything off so that something wouldn't go off. It kind of makes me wonder if they had a self-destruct function. Make it so. I have not read the report of investigation at that time, 2010. There was no way for either Feigl or myself to make a determination, and there was no follow-up from engineers. Any report they made would have been classified, and I didn't have a need to know. The event at Echo became what could be referred to as the talk of the town. Everyone knew about it, and many crew members kidded me about it. There was never any talk at any time about a similar event at Oscar. I can only conclude from that it never happened. The crew members of the 10th SMS were a tight group. We were the first Minutemen squadron activated and did a lot together. When someone in the squadron had difficulties that were not related to their skills or qualifications, kidding took place. At no time were UFOs mentioned to me. I have no information that sheds any light on the incident other than the official investigation or or the Echo incident. To the best of my knowledge, there was no report or investigation of any Oscar incident. Okay. And the other person basically said that the people who wrote the book and go on tours and tell you all this shit that contradicts this guy is full of shit. And they don't want to get involved in it because the individuals involved, the hucksters, are great at antagonizing people. Now I'm going to say something. People who are enamored with authoritarianism and authoritarian personalities, like Donald Trump, that's to trigger you, do so to antagonize people into submission. They do this to filter out people who are easily manipulated. If you agree with them while they're treating you like shit, well, that's like negging somebody to see if you can have them as somebody you can control. It's really easy, and these people naturally tend towards it. They're called sociopaths. I'm just saying. Now, anybody can play this part. I can do this too. I've had to do this when I've been assaulted or harassed, like literally last night. Someone decided they were going to try to get under my skin and fuck with me. So I made sure that they thought that attacking me would be a really painful and blinding experience, literally. All I did was describe the anatomy of the human face and how to remove an eyeball. That's not a bad thing. Doesn't mean I'm going to do anything, but that meant they didn't want to take that sharpened stick and hurt me. That's one way to be a sociopath, is to bluff somebody when you're under attack. The other way is to fuck with people until you basically make sure you know who you can control, and then you ignore the people who actually will respond to you as a bully by actually defending themselves. And then there's these assholes out here who keep talking up this incident because they do get money from it. They make you pay for stuff. They make a good, comfortable living doing nothing. And two people here have said these things here. I've got 2 videos so far. And one of them even says the guy who's making all these claims was never anywhere near these missile bases. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. This is part 2 and part 0 and part 1 we're done already. Bye.